With insurance costs on the rise nationwide, consumers are searching for clear, credible answers about what's driving premiums. APCIA President and CEO David Sampson joins us today to break down what's driving insurance costs, how the industry is working to stabilize the market, and steps consumers can take today to help secure more affordable home and auto coverage. David, thank you for joining us. How are you?
Thanks, James. Pleasure to be here.
David, here's the first question for you. Why are insurance costs continue to rise for many Americans?
Well, the cost of living for hardworking Americans is an urgent challenge, and it is affecting everything that people buy. So the first major factor is inflation. Uh, in 2022, we experienced four-decade high record inflation, and while the rate of inflation has decreased since 2022, prices are still rising, and that's affecting everything that people buy, from groceries to gasoline to electricity to healthcare to childcare, and it certainly has impacted insurance input cost, such as the cost to repair homes after and businesses after storms. The cost to repair homes has increased about 48% since 2022. The cost to repair cars that are damaged in accidents has increased about 44% when you look at parts and labor. And so those are primary factors that are directly driving insurance premium increases. The second factor is increased natural catastrophes and storm activity. The last 5 years have just been the costliest ever for U.S. natural disaster losses, and certainly people in Missouri have borne the brunt of that. So whether it's increased hurricanes on coastal areas or increased convective storms, tornadoes, hail, straight line winds in the Midwest, or whether it's wildfires in the far West, uh, increased natural disaster and storms are really driving insurance premium rate increases. And the third factor is litigation abuse. The average American family pays about $5,000 in what's called the tort tax. That's the impact that frivolous lawsuits and outrageous verdicts have on everything that people buy and consume. And so those three factors, inflation, increased storms, and lawsuit abuse, are primarily what's driving insurance rate increases.
How are insurers working to improve affordability for homeowners and drivers?
Well, first of all, we're working to promote mitigation and resilience. There are a lot of things that the federal and state governments and local governments can do to ensure that the built environment is more resilient, making smart choices about where to build, the building codes that are needed for new construction. There are a number of states, like Alabama comes to mind, for existence example, that offers grant programs to help people replace their roofs with more storm resistant roofs that can withstand hail damage and wind. And then the other factor that the industry is really working on, in addition to mitigation and resilience, is legal system abuse reform. Uh, Getting control of frivolous lawsuits can make a really dramatic impact on insurance costs. So, for example, after Florida in 22 and 23 passed comprehensive legal system reforms, the top five insurers, auto insurers in Florida, have reduced rates by 6.5%. And we've seen the same kind of trend in Georgia, that just passed legal system reform last year, Michigan. That's why we're really focused on that, because that can have a very immediate impact on reducing insurance cost.
Now, how can consumers make sure they're not underinsured and protect themselves financially?
Well, before storm season, and we're entering into that now that spring is nearby, we always encourage consumers, homeowners, to contact their local insurance agent or broker and review their policy to make sure that home values have been rising dramatically in recent years, and you want to make sure that your policy covers the increased value of your home. Make sure that your contents are covered. And so that is like an annual checkup with your insurance agent that we highly recommend. Work with your insurance agent to shop around. Insurance is a very, very competitive industry. There are a lot of companies out there that want your business. And so your local insurance agent can help you shop among all of those insurance companies to design the policy at the price that best meets individual consumers' needs.
Now, are there reforms that could help improve coverage options and lower rates?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, legal system reforms are probably the biggest impact out there. We've seen it in state after state. This is not theoretical. We can look at Florida, which had some of the highest insurance rates in the nation, both for home and auto. And last year they had the lowest homeowners premium increase of any state in the country as a direct result of legal system reforms that dramatically reduce the number and the size of these frivolous lawsuits that are out there.
What should people do now to evaluate their risk and coverage before it's too late?
Yeah, so we always encourage people to take your iPhone and take a walk through the house and do a video of all of your contents. Take pictures of valuables so that you've got a record of that. So, should God forbid the worst thing happen and you get hit with a storm, you've immediately got a record that you can take to your claims person with your insurance company and document all of those losses. Uh, Evaluate your deductibles. Some people want lower monthly premiums. If you set aside some money to make sure you have money for a higher deductible, if you have a loss, that can dramatically reduce your monthly premium. Look at bundling your home and auto policies together. Many companies offer discounts if you bundle both your home and auto policy. If you're not driving as much as you used to, look for a pay-as-you-go auto insurance policy, or ask if your company offers telematics so that you're rewarded for good driving with discounts. Those are a number of things that consumers have control of that they can manage on their own.
I've been speaking with APCIA President and CEO David Sampson. David, I got one more question for you because I'm here in
Sure.
St. Louis, and you know we got hit with that tornado last year in May, and there's a lot of people in low-income areas where there's not been hardly any repair done at all. Would you assume that is it possible of lack of insurance, lack of sitting down with an insurance agent? What do you think is causing some of that not being,
Yeah, they're probably, yeah, and that's certainly heartbreaking. And we've seen the same thing in California after the LA fires last January. The rate of rebuilding is very, very slow out there, and it's usually a number of factors. It could be under insurance. But also, there are a lot of impediments that state and local governments, in terms of permitting, put in place that inhibit rebuilding. So I don't know the specifics of that particular situation, but my guess it would be a combination of underinsurance, perhaps a slow pace of federal assistance to low income areas after a natural disaster, and local building and permitting requirements.
wow. David, I really appreciate that information. David Sampson, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure to be with you.